It's Thursday, April 13th, and this is now on HNN.
A person has been arrested for allegedly leaking sensitive U.S. military documents online about the war in Ukraine. I'm Nicole D'Antonio at the White House with details about what's next for the suspected leaker.
Former President Trump is back in New York for another legal fight. This time, he's being deposed in a civil case. I'm Michael George with what he's accused of.
The Honolulu Fire Department is investigating after a 43-foot vessel erupts in flames at Alawai Boat Harbor. Plus this.
It is Miss Aloha Hula Night here at the 60th annual Merry Monarch Festival. I'm Dylan Ancheta with a live report from Hilo coming up.
These stories and more coming up on This Is Now. Aloha and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for watching This Is Now. We have a live report from Dylan in Hilo in just a few moments. But first, a look at your today's top headlines. The FBI swarmed a Massachusetts home today and arrested a member of the Air National Guard. He's accused of leaking those classified Pentagon documents. Nicole D'Antonio has the latest.
A team in full tactical gear arrested the suspected leaker of Pentagon documents at his North Dighton, Massachusetts home.
Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira in connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, retention, and transmission of classified national defense information.
Investigators want to question 21-year-old Jack Teixeira. Teixeira is a member of the intelligence wing of the Massachusetts Air National Guard. He's also reportedly the leader of an online chat group where the documents were allegedly first uploaded. The documents outline details about Ukraine's upcoming counteroffensive, but both Ukrainian and U.S. officials downplayed the impact of the leak.
I'm concerned that it happened, but there's nothing contemporaneous that I'm aware of that is of great consequence.
The documents also revealed a number of secrets the U.S. has collected on its allies, causing the administration to make some tough calls.
We have U.S. officials who are engaging with allies and partners at high levels on having these conversations.
The Pentagon is already working to ensure this kind of leak doesn't happen again.
We do have stringent guidelines in place for safeguarding classified and sensitive information. This was a deliberate criminal act, a violation of those guidelines.
The Pentagon also briefed congressional leaders about its investigation. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, the White House.
An investigation is underway into a boat fire at Alawai Harbor. A 43-foot vessel went up in flames just past 8:30 last night. Videos show the blaze light the night sky a bright orange. Witnesses say they heard explosions as the fire broke out. One man said he tried to help control the blaze with a garden hose until firefighters arrived. HFD says no one was on board the vessel when the fire started and no injuries were reported. Firefighters were able to prevent damage to any neighboring boats. We're told the fire was brought under control at around 9 o'clock. A Hawaii public school teacher has been placed on leave after being charged with sexually assaulting a student. HPD arrested 44-year-old Sonoy Kalahiki on Monday. The special education teacher at Castle High School was charged with fourth-degree sex assault. The school sent a letter home to parents informing them of the ongoing investigation, but did not provide further details. The Department of Education confirms Kalahiki has worked with the DOE since 2017. Kalahiki was free after posting a $100 bail. Police are searching for the man who viciously attacked a young woman in Eva Beach. Catherine Kelly says she was walking along Eva Beach Road Monday night when a man pushed her against a fence, then threw her on the ground. She says she screamed for help, then he took off.
But I do think that this is just a really good, wake-up call that even people who you may be comfortable around or may not see as a threat, you always just have to be aware and cautious. And in the moment, everything happened so fast, but I'm glad that I did scream.
Kelly describes her attacker as 6'1" and 240 pounds. He was wearing jean shorts, a black shirt with a graphic design, and slippers. If you have any information, please call police. case. Another suicide at Oahu's largest jail, and this one happened despite repeated warnings. Our chief investigative reporter Lynn Kawano details the information that came in days before the inmate hanged himself.
Both the man's defense attorney and the deputy prosecutor on the case called OCCC to say the man needed to be on suicide watch. Jimuel Gatioan was being held at the Oahu Community Correctional Center accused of domestic violence. He was arrested after an attack on his wife on February 20th at this Kalihi home. His defense attorney, Jonathan Burge, said he was suffering from mental illness and told family members that he was suicidal.
Called OCCC, talked to their central receiving when the prosecutor then said, well, the family called me, and I also called OCCC and told them to put him on suicide watch.
That was March 21st. Despite the warnings from both the defense attorney and the deputy prosecuting attorney, he was found hanging in his cell on March 28th.
It's terrible. There was ample notification, as we understand it. So there are consequences here, and we intend to pursue this case against the state.
Attorney Miles Briner now represents his family in a potential civil case. The state has been through this before. Last year, the state paid nearly $1.5 million to the family of Joseph O'Malley, who hanged himself despite being on suicide watch in Halava Correctional Center in 2017.
They should fix it on a human level just because it's the right thing to do. But in addition to that, just from a taxpayer point of view, the state is going to continue to get sued until they get this under control.
The Department of Public Safety would not comment on the warnings from the deputy prosecutor and Gatuan's defense attorney, but confirmed in a statement that he was found unresponsive in his cell and said assigned staff immediately began administering aid and called 911. The staff performed CPR until EMS arrived to take over life-saving procedures. He was then transported to the hospital. He died days later.
It's a very tragic and preventable thing that happened.
The Department of Public Safety said the investigation is ongoing and they could not comment any further. At OCCC, I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
The Suicide Prevention Hotline is available 24/7 for anyone in distress or for a loved one needing help. Just call 988. A federal grand jury is now conducting a criminal investigation into the Red Hill fuel spills, which contaminated the drinking water for 90,000 military and civilian families for months. The grand jury has been issuing subpoenas to military officials and civilian staff.
Someone should go to jail behind this and be held criminally responsible. This is about health and safety of the people, the welfare of the people and the environment.
Navy officials declined comment due to the pending investigation. Meanwhile, the military says local lawmakers from the Hawaii State House Special Committee on Red Hill toured Red Hill yesterday. They were briefed on the latest efforts to defuel and close the site. We're told that 172 repairs have now been completed out of 253 required before the tanks can be defueled safely. A heads up for drivers in town. The red light cameras at the intersection of McCully and Algaroba Streets will begin issuing warnings starting tomorrow. It comes 30 days before enforcement will be fully implemented with citations for violators. Red light runners face a fine of up to $200. The McCully-Algaroba intersection is the 9th of 10 selected for the DOT's pilot program. A federal appeals court ruled to preserve access to the nation's most commonly used method of abortion, the pill mifepristone, but it comes with restrictions. The panel ruled the pill can only be used for up to 7 weeks of pregnancy instead of 10, and it cannot be distributed by mail without a visit to the doctor. This narrows last week's ruling in Texas, where a single lower court judge blocked the drug's FDA approval. Mifepristone received FDA approval 23 years ago. Former President Donald Trump visited New York for the second time in 2 weeks for another legal battle. Michael George has more on the case that could drive the Trump family business out of the state.
Donald Trump waved to supporters as he headed for his deposition in New York. His motorcade drove past chanting crowds, arriving at the offices of Attorney General Letitia James, who's filed a civil lawsuit over his company's business practices. Before the meeting, Trump inflamed the rhetoric, posting on social media, "I will be heading downtown to meet with a racist."
I do.
During a deposition last year, Trump invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 400 times, calling the case a witch hunt.
Anyone in my position not taking the Fifth Amendment would be a fool, an absolute fool.
But this time, a source familiar with his legal team's planning said he was expected to answer questions. The lawsuit accuses Trump, 3 of his children, and their company of a long-running fraud, saying they overvalued assets by billions of dollars. The $250 million suit describes a scheme to get tax benefits and preferential loans.
The inflation of his assets, it seems like they have a very compelling case against him.
Trump denies any wrongdoing. His attorney said in a statement the former president, quote, looks forward to educating the attorney general about the immense success of his multi-billion-dollar company. The case is unrelated to the felony criminal charges filed against Trump last week. It's scheduled to go to trial in early October. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
All right, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam. This is Hilo Bay over on the Big Island. You can see gloomy skies there, some showers off in the distance. Let's see what's in store for your Aloha Thursday forecast. Here's Guy Hagi.
Aside from the Kona side, we'll get these nice steady trade winds coming in from the east-northeast probably through Saturday. And then on Sunday, things will start to change up. We're going to start to get maybe Kona winds about that time from an approaching front. So get ready for those changes. Not so much today over the next several days. And for Kona, they'll get light winds. That means morning sunshine, afternoon clouds, and a few afternoon showers upslope. Now today there's a chance for some afternoon thunderstorms there as well. For the Hilo side, they'll get the typical Hilo trade wind weather. That means cloudy and damp today. A few more spots of sunshine for the next several days, but there will be those passing showers from time to time. We're not expecting a washout. Now for Kauai, they're likely to see more rain as a front drops in from the northwest sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday. It could be heavy. The rain could be heavy at that time. And for Maui, they've got cloudy skies today, but not a lot of rain, maybe a few splashes for the east side. And those fairly nice trade wind conditions will continue for the next several days for Maui County as well.
Well, it's the first night of competition at the 60th Annual Merry Monarch Festival, and tonight a Miss Aloha Hula will be crowned. We're joined now live in Hilo by Dylan and Cheta. Dylan, before we talk about Miss Aloha Hula, you were there for the Ho'ike performances last night. Tell us all about it.
Yes, Ashley, last night was absolutely breathtaking. It moved me to tears. The big theme last night was legacy. Of course, we honored the late Kumuhula uncle Johnny Lamho. And when I say legacy, I mean legacy. They brought back dancers from even before his halau was called Halau Okoa Kanilehua. Back when it was the Johnny Lam Hula Studio, they had dancers there who they said danced for him from the very beginning, but never had the chance to perform with him on the Merry Monarch stage. And so that was their first time being on stage. And just looking at them, of course, they're kupuna now. And so seeing them was just so, it warmed the heart and it brought people to tears. And of course, the excitement was just all filled throughout the entire stadium. The night started off with Halau o Ke Kuhi, the hometown halau that always kicks off Ho'ike every single year. Without them, it's not Merry Monarch. And as soon as they took the stage, the crowd just roared into excitement and joy. And of course, it was a full stadium, sold out. In fact, at several points throughout the night, the MC had to say, hey guys, scooch in a little bit, make more room, because that line stretched all the way from the stadium down to the baseball field and back around. And so there were thousands of people last night. And I spoke with some of them, some girls from Maui, who, two of them, they've returning to Merry Monarch, but one of them, it was their first time. And they had a great time. Here's what they said.
I don't think I have the words to describe how beautiful everything was. Yeah, I just, chicken skin and just, I just cried. Yeah.
And for you two, who you've been to Merry Monarch before, how does this compare to years past? What are you guys' thoughts on it?
This, to me, was just to focus on Hawaiian hula. It was just so beautiful. I think one of my favorite parts was to see Uncle Kimo dance, and he still got the moves, and that was so awesome. And then, of course, the tribute, to Uncle Johnny, and to see his dancers, and they danced for him tonight. Just seeing everybody in their beautiful dresses and aloha shirts and the leis and the smiles and the appreciation for the culture. What brings us together, yeah.
And also just being in the crowd with everybody and listening to their cheering on to everybody and how happy they are, and just being part of that was just amazing.
That's what Ho'ike Night is all about, yeah. One big, beautiful party and just to start off the whole event.
Yeah, so once again, Ho'ike Night was a big success, and we, of course, are looking forward to Miss Aloha Hula, which is tonight. And before that competition, I'm joined now by two very, very special people. We have Kamalani Ho Wersig, who is Miss Aloha Hula 1996, and then, of course, her mama, Kumu Leimomi Ho of, I'm going to take a stab at this, Halau ke li'i ka'apuni honua ke ena a hula. Oh, aloha. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. We're so fabulous.
Well, thank you so much. Kuma, I want to speak with you first. You are so much fun. I love you so much. I love both of you. What are your thoughts? I know we spoke to you previously about the evolution of Merry Monarch, but how does it feel for you to be here in Merry Monarch? And you're not competing this year, so...
No more stress. Just go with the flow. But it's awesome, and to be here, to have been here from the beginning, it's just words cannot express.
Yeah.
Just the feeling of being here, and everybody's just so anxious, you know?
For other people at home, Kumu was among the first dancers at the early days of the Merry Monarch Hula competition. In 1971 was the first year there was competitive hula, and under the Hau'oli Hula studio, her mama's halau, she competed. Take us back to that. Tell us a little bit about what that was like.
Back then, wow, that's a long time, kamakahiko, but that was an honor. We're most humbled to have had the opportunity to have been in the first Merry Monarch, and it was the Hau'oli Hula girls under the direction of my kumu, my mama, Auntie Vicky E.E. Rodriguez, and musicians with Auntie Pauline and Auntie Violet. But that was, awesome. Words cannot explain how we felt. It was
not only did you dance, you also won, yeah?
Something like that. Yes, we took it home. So that was an honor in itself.
I love it. And for you, Kamalani, a former Miss Aloha Hula, talk about the Miss Aloha Hula legacy. What does it mean to be a Miss Aloha Hula in your eyes?
Wow, it's such an honor. We have a really nice sisterhood where we have this pilina, and some of us more than others because we share like a familial hula background, which is very far and few. Like I can speak to the likes of the Deliri Ohana, Natalie Ai, her mama, Milia Lobenstein Carter, her grandma. So for us that have such a rich hula familial legacy, it's such a wonderful thing, and you truly grow up just in hula. It's in your koko, it's in your ha, it's breathed upon you before you can even walk, you know what I mean?
Really quickly, I want to ask you, I think it's so beautiful that you guys, mother-daughter team, but as a Miss Aloha Hula, if I'm a contestant today, right now, hours before competition, what am I doing? What should I be doing? What mind space, describe that, should I be in?
Ooh, you are just focusing on everything that was taught to you. You look at your journey. What particular journey did you choose to go on here? Like for me, it was my whole life. You know what I mean? Like you train your whole life to be here. So that one moment where you're able to share, like for me, I wanted ua ikea. I wanted everybody to know of my nana and her legacy, and people surely do. I mean, it impacted all the way to like just a few years ago, the Kamehameha schools honored her like for her gifts. She's truly, like in my eyes, my loea, because she could speak, she could hakumele, she could compose. You know, she was every facet of her life. She was so vai or rich in everything she did.
Well, you definitely live up to that legacy. Kumu, for you, what does it mean to be a mother-daughter team and see your daughter as a Miss Aloha Hula?
Wow. But, okay, so first of all, I'm her mom. There's time and place. So when I'm her mom, I'm her mom. When it's hula, I'm her kumu. And we did have that understanding that, okay, it's time for hula, so I'm kumu, I'm not mommy. Put that aside for a little bit. But because I think because of our legacy and who we're doing it for, and her intention was, I'm doing this for my Nana. That's all she kept saying, is for my Nana. And I think that's what really helped us just flow through it, because it was for her Nana, my mama, you know, and we knew why we were there and what we were doing for her. And that was important to us.
What kind of kumu was she as the kumu? Strict kind kumu, crack the whip.
Oh, of course. I mean, I grew up in those days of kumus throwing stuff at you. No,
what did she throw at you?
No.
Kumu, what she would throw at your daughter?
Yeah, no.
It was the eye. The eyes told us. She just looked at my face and my eyes, and she just knew. Like with Mama. Mama had wore glasses. When her glasses fell on her nose, I better run. But with this one, she just looked at my face, and my eyes told her, come on, girl.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate this. I love speaking to both of you. We're going to have a very special performance from them in just a moment, but really quickly, we want to remind you of the broadcast schedule for tonight. Of course, we are broadcasting Miss Aloha Hula online and on K5. Catch all the fun starting at 6 o'clock, and then the rest of the coming performances the rest of this week, also on air and online. So at this time, I'm going to turn over the stage. You folks are going to be performing a very special mele for us. The stage is yours.
I'll have a Lena away, Kapua o kamakahala, mai ho'ohala, mai oe, I ka pilina uapa. I'll have a Lena oe, Kapua o kamakahala, mai ho'ohala, mai oe, I ka pilina uapa.
So special. Thank you for watching This Is Now. Much more hula coming up, first at 4.